We see an expert to check up on our health. We see an expert to check up on our car. Why don't we do the same with our finances? Jump online and book a free personal financial health check with Jeff Bowman from Wealth by Design. Knowledge is power. Follow the link on edgeradioaustralia.com. Design a future for you and your children. Wealth by Design.
Indeed, it is time for Wealth by Design. The gentleman, the man, the myth, the legend beside me here, the man behind Wealth by Design, it is Jeff Bowman. Great to see you, buddy.
Thank you very much, Aaron. Thank you very much indeed.
Always a pleasure. Now, but before we introduce our guests, what's going on with the competition with the shirts, mate? I mean, really?
Well, the City Beach is blown over by a tornado.
Was it?
It's glim. It's floods everywhere. Although I'd brighten the show up.
You've done it, mate. If I had some skills, I'd go surfing. But no, maybe not today.
No, I had to do a quick change. I came from a Conservative meeting earlier.
Right.
So there we go, mate. There's just no way you can keep getting away with being the star leader of the Lair shirt.
Well, we've got a guest here who's got a bit more decorum about him. He doesn't need to be outlandish and flashy like us, mate. So. Who might that be?
That might be Mr. Craig Edson from Absolute Office Supplies or Comforts. Yeah. You do supply a lot of furniture, but yeah, so Absolute Office Comforts. Thank you, Craig.
Thank you for having me.
It's very, very good to have you on board. And as we often refer to the whole sort of modus operandi around Wealth by Design, we come across lots of different characters.
We certainly do.
Directly or indirectly related to, making money and who we deal with when it comes to spending our dough. And I've got to know Craig quite well through some business connections. And unlike a lot of the retailers out there, Craig's got a great little business.
Very much so.
He's rock and roll. Yeah, no.
Been in it for a while too, hey?
Long time.
Yeah. 2009 we started out.
There you go.
2009, yeah. And so a combination of importing and manufacturing, which I think is fantastic because I've always liked the idea of Australians being manufacturers, right?
Oh,
because there's so much not happening in the manufacturing space if everything's happening in bloody China.
So true. Look, local jobs, okay? You're employing people, you're feeding families, and that's a really big, important thing. So, no, I'm all for it. Obviously, some things, it's a balancing act. Sometimes you need to import. But no, it's something I always want to highlight. It's just such a good thing. Local manufacturing, good on you, mate. Really.
Thank you. It's not easy, but
no.
It has its challenges, but it's certainly much reward when you see the finished product that's not just a generic product that comes from some of those generic people or businesses that generically sell generic products or flat packs and stuff like that. So when you see the finished products that are done and made to order, it's obviously get it all right, and there's a lot of joy and happiness from the client, but also there's got to be a fair bit of satisfaction from our staff as well. So we have a WhatsApp channel now that we have for all our staff on, where we're trying to show the guys at the factory that only see it in pieces, and send them sometimes a picture of the finished product. Otherwise, it's only our installers that get that satisfaction of seeing the really good stuff.
There's a very good point.
Finished off. So
strangely enough, and you don't know this yet, so I'm going to spring it on you. I've discovered something recently. You and I spoke a few weeks ago, okay? And I realised that a desk that I actually had made a few years ago, one of yours.
Oh, is it?
There you go. You would have been in business about 2 years at the time.
Yeah. Okay. Could be. Yeah.
And it's a pretty good thing to say. I was, until about a year and a half ago, I was still using the desk, mate.
Yeah.
It's still strong as an ox. And I mean, the difference between locally made and imported, not on everything, but certainly in this case, a great desk. It did the job.
It's one of their biggest problems is reselling to old clients because it doesn't wear out.
You shot yourself in the foot, mate.
It's only when they move house or move businesses or expand and that sort of thing that we get to see them again. So unfortunately, a lot of our clients that are in the business area, we only get to see them once, every 3 or 4 or 5 years when they expand or move office or home or things like that as well.
Well, what I liked and why I used I mentioned and linked this because it was for a very specific thing. It was actually for a radio station, for a studio, and it needed to be a particular shape, right, to really genuinely work. Now, you can't get that off, something off the internet, that's just generic and made for everybody. So yeah, you guys looked after us. The curves were in the right places and the sharp bits were where they needed to be, and did the job really well. So there you go.
Yep, that's good.
Now, Craig, just something about ergonomics. Now, you've got a fair bit of stuff in your marketing material on your website and so forth about the quality argument for not having proper ergonomic furniture because of the cost to business and so forth. And some of the ones are obvious, I suppose. If you've got a lousy bloody chair, it gives you a crook back, it's no good. But there'll be a lot more to it. So can you expand on that a bit for us?
Yeah, it's a lot of people can look at it as, and I can look at it as well as sort of seeing that some of these things you might deem as being a gimmick, or us being a salesman or a salesperson trying to oversell and make more money and all that sort of thing. But a lot of it is all about your own health.
Yep.
I guess these days, even in the business network groups and everywhere else, we sort of talk about having healthy operators to be great producers and keep production up within whatever the business is. So it depends. You need to have something that's works for each person, and that is difficult, particularly with companies that got a lot of different people.
Of course.
So how do I set up an operation for you versus you, and that's where the difficulties come in. So having chairs, for example, as you say, you need ones that are more adjustable, that you could sit in one day and then you might be able to sit in the next day.
Yep.
You very politely said we've got very different body types, mate. I understand.
Yeah.
But it's true though. You've got to be very adjustable.
Your hat would always hit the headrest.
Of course.
But I mean, if you talk to my father, who still works in the business there and welcomes the people into there, and they say, "What's your best chair?" Well, he says your body will tell you what the best chair is. So a lot of the chairs are more ergonomic from the point of view they have more adjustability.
Sure.
They have better foams in their seats and cushions and that sort of thing. And then, of course, you want to put that with the desk that you're working out on. Now, we are selling lots and lots of electric height adjustable desks these days. They've come down in price, and obviously you can set that and sit and stand all the time to make yourself move, because sitting is the new smoking, as many of them say.
Sitting's the new smoking.
Never heard that. That is so true.
I haven't heard that one.
It's been around for a while. So
there you go.
Heard it here first today.
But I mean, sitting still and not moving those hips is what's going to hurt you in the long run when you get older. So be up and down. You have to train yourself. The desk won't do it for you. You have to push the button.
Okay.
But I mean, obviously, there's budgets to come into consideration as well.
Yep.
Also, with your health and ergonomics, you want to consider the environment as far as hearing goes. So, if you've got drop ceilings, do you have an acoustic tile in the ceiling? Keep your acoustics well, particularly if you're in call centres or noisy offices. It's hard work on your staff or on yourself if you're out there listening to noise all day. Put yourself in the restaurant environment where people are hearing the banging and clanging of kitchen. I've operated machinery day in and day out. When you turn it off, the quiet, you can hear the silence.
Yes.
And that's where you need to rest people as well. So those environments, and then along with the furniture, there's also the atmosphere. I mean, mate, look at this. Makes you feel relaxed and good. You want to come to work every day.
Mate. Well, that's the idea.
That's part of ergonomics. I mean, it makes you happy to come to work every day. And you don't have any pot plants much here, but having greenery.
We've got a salt lamp. There's a reason we don't have any pot plants, because I'd be in charge of keeping them alive.
Okay.
And that's it's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Questions actually popped in, and I just want to throw this one forward to you, Craig. Now, thank you, Lisa, for this question. Is a leather executive chair worth it?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Trouble with leather executive chairs, depending on what you're doing. If you're sitting in them all day, they've got to really suit your body. A lot of the executive type chairs are what I call lock and rock. They go up and down, and you can unlock them and rock, but they have no other adjustments.
Okay.
If they're a synchro mesh where the backs and that work together with the seat, they're fine. Leather chair is better than a PU or vinyl type chair, obviously, and you'll pay for it. but it still comes down to what the foam is. So you can buy a leather chair with poor foam in it, and you'll be sitting on the seat base or the gas lift before you know it in 6 months.
There you go. Oh, there you
go.
go.
You can buy a $400 or $500 leather chair, which is quite cheap for a leather chair, and you'll probably find that it's saving money somewhere in that where
you've got to hit the price point somewhere. Is it cheaper foam? Is it cheaper frame?
If you're not paying, $600, $700, $800 for a leather chair, then that's the bottom of the range, I would suspect.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other. There's what do they call it? Vegetable leather, I think it is now.
Oh, vegan.
vegan leathers.
Vegan leather.
Vegan leather. Hang on.
Vegan leather. Is it?
I don't know. That probably refers to the cows eat grass. I'm not sure, but it's a synthetic leather.
It's synthetic. It's nothing real about it. It's not a hide.
And used to have the old leather where they just got the leather shavings and they used to bond it together. What they call that, leatherette, I think it was in the old days.
Yeah, really?
They've upgraded the name to vegan leathers, but
bit like chicken nuggets.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, a question's come through clearly from one of the staff here, or part of the family anyway, of Edge Radio Australia. Someone's being sneaky. Can you help Edge Studio with a new couch? Yes, we know the couches are getting a bit tired, but they're part of.
And one of our suppliers help us is that they supply Australia-wide, and they manufacture lounge and sofas, soft furnishings for office and home in Bayswater here. So
we'll have to have a word.
So,
there we go.
There's more local manufacturers that do this sort of thing, and their pricing is really good for what you get too.
It is amazing that we can have local manufacturing.
Yeah.
It's just so cool.
Look, I spent some of my life in the furniture industry, and a lot of people want, custom made stuff, or it's not even a case if they just want it. Sometimes, look, they need to fit into a particular space. I can imagine in the office furniture industry, I mean, you've got all different shapes and sizes, like you say. Customizing is a big thing. It's not cookie cutter. So
part of the modern design, and that comes into mental ergonomics and all sorts of ergonomics, as well as where they're having the breakout areas these days. So you can work at a desk for a while, and then you can go somewhere else, and they'll be ottomans or sofas or different sorts of chairs. You can take a 10-minute break or whatever and do something else, or make a phone call, and then come back to your desk and get into it again.
It's changed so much. We used to be very much like factory hens, I guess. In the old box of everything was very the same. There was no sort of respite. But we live in a world right now where we're always in offices. This is our lifestyle. We need to get it balanced out. You got to be comfy. You've got to have
the open plan system came in some time ago, as you know. And that sort of has gone through cycles. So you went from fully enclosed offices to open plan, where had 1,800 high partitions, where you're all, the battery hen thing, I guess, sort of started. And then those 1,800 high partitions come down to 15, and then down to 12. And then we had to learn how to talk to each other.
Imagine that.
But then we got to a point where it got very loud and we couldn't concentrate. So that person was annoying that person all the time. So then, it goes up a bit higher and backwards and forwards. But in those petitions, of course, we're all trying to save $1. So we're trying to have those petitions as cheap as possible.
Sure.
But if we had a petitioning system that was more acoustic, every little bit of acoustics helps make the environment much more pleasant, and much more production can be done, because you can get on the phone, you can have conversations. Hence why you see some of the bigger companies that can afford it, they're buying those sound pods, the not the soundproof, basically almost soundproof rooms, but those pod systems, where they're going to have meetings and have phone calls with clients and all that. You go somewhere else and do that. They're all hooked up with electrics and data and all that sort of thing. You can operate it as an office within the office.
Well, we've obviously had those in radio for a very, very long time. We used to call them a dead room, and I mean, it's amazing. I mean, the sound is so crisp and that sort of thing, but you're not disturbed. You get things done, and I never before thought about that in an office environment.
When Jeff comes to visit me, I'll put him in one.
Yeah, that's right. Lock him in the closet away. Release vacation. So
it's just there to get away from the noise.
So this is something you're involved with, or
we've got those products as well, and supply all those sorts of products. We've often at our businesses we merged in Stefan's, my business partner, Absolute Office Interiors, merged in with our initial Office Comforts to become Absolute Office Comforts about 6 years ago. And we've been able to bring different skills and products into it. So we've worked on the theory of attempting to be a one-stop shop.
Yep.
So, if you need an office fit out, then we've got partners and suppliers that can build the partitioning, the walls, the glass, the flooring, the carpet, the ceilings, and all that sort of thing, right down to electricians, plumbing, and all that sort of thing. So we can
putting
do
all the points in for the computers.
Yeah, we can do
thing.
your kitchen areas, your vanities for your toilets. I'm just finishing one up at Cable Layers Australia at the moment, where we've ripped out the old kitchen, put a new one in, ripped out the vanities, put new vanities in, recarpeted, all new furniture, height adjustable desks throughout, boardroom tables, glass, new boardroom for them, which we do for many companies. And I should say, talk about making desks to specific those. We've done the control desks for the up north for Roy Hill, and their offices at the airport here, and they're about 3 meters long, 1,200 deep, and they're done in a bit of a half shape. They've got holes in them. They've got 5 height adjustable legs bringing up, because they've got about 12 screens across, mounted on the desktop. That's all got to go up and down as they stand there and operate everything that's up north in the Pilbara. So it's a specific type of product for a specific type of job. So we pride ourselves in trying to be specific.
That is great. So planning is a big part of your operation.
Yes.
You can't do a job for Roy Hill with all that without sitting down with them and your whole design team and going, well, here's the black bit of paper and let's get into it.
And that's part of our service as well. We've got in-house interior designers to help talk you through different colours, who will do 3D drawings. I mean, these days SketchUp is such a great program for that sort of thing. And then we've got programmers and designers that are also programming the made-to-order through to the CNC machine, so into the software that takes it to the CNC for cutting. So my biggest challenge is trying to employ people in there that are smarter than me, and if I can get everyone in there that's smarter than me, that's good. And they do a really good job. They've got a lot of skills.
So Craig, you're not just out the back with a jigsaw, mate. Like, clearly,
no, I wouldn't. My staff wouldn't let me touch one.
Well, a lot of it's very computerized, isn't it? And it's expensive. Laser measuring and cutting, and
the CNC stuff's incredible. It really is. It just takes everything to another level, because your precision, and the fact that you can replicate so well, which is not something that they used to have to do with jigs and all of that to a much bigger extent. I would assume anyway. But now with CNC, everything's made so exactly that you're building a Lego set. Right?
Now that acronym, Aaron, you've used there, computer.
Hang on,
design.
You're probably at that computer design. Hang on,
the CNC.
CNC.
What does it stand for?
What's it stand for?
Oh, gosh, I've even had to think about that for years.
You put me on the spot. I thought it was
I know.
CNC.
The old jargon. Well, CAD is computer assisted design. Computer. Yeah. So, CAD. I get
Computer
that.
something cutting. Probably.
But they're big in their expense. Where does that equipment come from? Is it like German made or?
Well, originally a lot of it was European made. Italy big in those sort of machines, as well as Germany in the past. And of course now is the same with everything. China, because Europeans have taken their technology to China 15 years ago or more, shared it around, and everything's been superseded. But we bought a new CNC 2 years ago now. From local supplier, but it's made in China, but it's using a lot of European tech. Well, not so much the tech, but even the parts.
Even the parts,
the running gear. So it's a bit like, having a truck with a Road Ranger and a Cummins in it.
Gotcha.
Standard sort of running gear through it. So if something does break, we don't have to go and reinvent it or find where it was made.
It's
or
off the
something
shelf.
like that.
Great.
Another question in here, and thank Lisa for these questions. Is there a particular plant that you recommend? This is obviously from before when we're talking about the ones that I kill, but things that are good for an office environment, I guess.
Mother-in-law's tongue is the simplest answer. Don't look at the ones in our showroom. Dad feeds it about once every 6 months and survives still. Mother-in-law's tongue is an interesting plant. It's very low care, obviously, as everyone would know, but its ability to clean the air if you want to look it up,
I didn't know this.
It's the best. It's the best plant. I'm pretty sure it's the best plant. If it's not the best, it's up amongst the best plants.
Right.
To purify and clean air within an office.
Mother-in-law's tongue.
Well, I had a mother-in-law whose tongue I wanted to silence a lot. But there you go. I didn't even know.
So
I've heard of it as
so there's planter trays out there that you fit pot plants in. You just have mother-in-law's tongue, but you can put whatever you like in there to make it look nice. But
do they flower? Excuse my ignorance. No, they're just a green.
Just a cactus.
They're
basically.
a cactus.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
that's why they live so easily in in an environment that if you don't water them, they still survive. Somehow.
Yeah. Wow.
But they clean the environment.
That's
they clean the air.
Well, they would.
Okay.
Yeah, they would survive in our office.
There's a couple of blogs on our website you could check out.
I better actually. As I say, look, I'm weak in particular areas. I'm not good at doing the dishes either. So no, look, but it is interesting because we look at this whole thing. Well, I do now. Okay, differently. Back in the old days, okay, it was kind of, we needed desks for this or that or whatever. Okay, now you've got to kind of look at the whole big picture. People are spending so much time at their workplace. You want to make it as interesting and as inviting place as you can. Now, you mentioned before Edge. I mean, Edge is obviously, we've got a lot of colour and a lot of life in here. That, where that came from for me, that came from working in radio stations in the past. They were all so grey. Yeah. Right? They were grey, and it was not inspiring. So I thought, hey, you know what? When we do this, let's have lots of colour, let's have fun, let's have lots of interest. So you're inspired, right? It gives that to you.
I like it.
And I tend to think a good, well-designed office space is going to do a similar thing and at a higher, raise the level of your productivity, right?
Yeah. And like I alluded to the fact that ergonomics is more than just sitting, how you sit at a chair or what your type of chair is. It's a bigger picture than that, but also you've got to do the difference between function and design.
Sure.
So you can get a designer or anyone can design and go to town on design. It's going to cost you a fortune and it might not actually work. So you've got to design an office that works for you and for the individual people.
Yeah.
So the train controllers at Roy Hill, they don't want a 1500 by 800 desk that's got, it's not built right for it. You've got to give them the right stuff. Otherwise, you're not going to get the production out of them. And the other interest there is when we're manufacturing, even with our boardroom tables and things like that, we're looking at different ways of using the materials that we use every day to make that boardroom table different. So having negative detail tops and all that sort of thing. We're looking at, in this area here, to make it softer and more acoustic, there's a product called Eco Panel. Now, you can buy just a plain grey colour and just run strips of it around the wall. And it's cheap, but it gives effect. And with acoustics, every little bit helps.
Of course.
But this is another colour design, so it's going to break up the colour scheme from, just come back to your design thoughts, it breaks up your colour from between what you've got on your floor to what you've got on your cabinetry to what you've got on the wall above and all that sort of thing. So those combinations are quite important. And then if you've got this blandish or plainish or neutral office, you can then get the fabric changed on your chairs, for example, or get green chairs or blue chairs or something to give that little bit of life, or on the screen systems that we talked about, change the colour in that sort of thing.
Also
to give
the
this
branding,
little lift here.
Your branding of your business.
Exactly.
Why not have the colours of the branding of your business? Yeah.
Or some of our screen systems, the more expensive line, they're individual panels on the sides.
Okay.
So you can have a standard grey colour across the top, and then you might have a red GT stripe through the middle sort of thing, if that's your company colour. But that just breaks up. The thing about breaking it up and doing that comes back to mental ergonomics, because it starts to look a bit cool, and people, if they're enjoying themselves at work, you're making it a great place to come with. You've got the cheap coffee machine out the back with the pods, as we do, but it's a nice coffee, and you're coming in, you're working in a reasonably brightish environment that's got a bit of colour about it.
Remember back in the day when Apple, they changed workplaces.
Yes, and Google.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. The big, the colourful monitors and all that sort of thing. Just
bean bags.
I think there's some space in between. To go for, but that comes back to the dollar, of course. Everyone's budget, everyone's value on a dollar is completely different. So your value on what you can spend is different to what you can, and from our point of view, we've got to get on the same page as that, so that we can give you what you want at good value. And that's what we try to do, is to use a lot of good quality products that aren't highly expensive, that will give you the best result you can get.
You just use the term value. It's not about price; it's value.
Yeah,
Right? It's such an important difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Yeah.
Is the government at all helpful when it comes to the small business incentives, like the 20 grand write-off and all that sort of stuff? Can they spend that money on office fit-outs? They surely can.
Yes, yeah.
It fits in with furniture.
It's an asset. It's product. I mean, we used that last one for our new CNC machine.
Okay.
That before the end of the COVID.
So it's an instant
ones,
write-off. It's not a depreciation over 5 years or whatever.
Yeah. So I think they're slowly actually dumbing that down, unfortunately. But I've heard, but I'm not quite sure that whether it's still 20,000 for another year or whether someone said the other day they might be lowering it down, which would be disappointing.
There'll be an accountant listening to this. He'll be letting me know shortly. I was talking to him before.
But it's disappointing from the fact that those sorts of, in my mind, those sorts of incentives, they go straight to the grassroots of the people doing it. And when you talk about government grants and incentives and that for manufacturing to grow and expand, that you've got so many. You need to. We looked at it a bit. You have to basically actually hire someone to work out the paperwork and get you through. It's more set up for the top end of town.
Yeah.
To pay for small to medium businesses. I suspect you go to a government person and they'll say, "Look, there's $5 billion here for manufacturing grants, and we've only handed out 1 million. Nobody's applied for it." Well, it's because it's too bloody hard.
The process is incredibly
it's not going to the grassroots, giving the opportunity.
Yeah. There's I was sitting next to a bloke the other day. His business specialises in getting all these grants organised for people. And basically the deal is 50-50. You put in 10 grand and they'll put in 10 grand, or you put in 100, they'll put in 100. So it's 1 for 1. And he charges 10%.
Yeah.
And he's got a whole team of people.
Right.
So so you can find people to work through that quagmire of paperwork.
Yeah. And then you've just got to fit into their
categories.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I wasn't aware of that. So great reason to just contact you, mate. Go to the website.
You know where to contact people, mate.
Yeah, that's right. Not what you know. It's who you know, right?
And
come on.
Within 2 phone calls, you've got all the information you need.
Well, and also on that front, like if someone said to me about grant writing, okay, making requests. And I used to run a different radio station in the past who, were very heavy on grants, and they had a specific person that's what they did, right? I thought that was only because it was part of a larger organisation. I didn't realise you could actually subcontract that, which is a great idea.
Oh yeah,
that's a great idea.
Well,
they don't have time otherwise.
No,
and they've got. They're highly organised. They know exactly where you slot in based on your business model.
Yep.
And they're quite open about it. Yeah, we charge 10%. We raise 100 grand, pay us 10. Simple as that.
No stress. Done.
They get the 10%. They get the 10% on.
Cheap.
Yeah. And they're not charging 10% on your cash, just on the grant money. Yeah. So now, Craig, tell me whether I reckon you're fairly quiet way about going about and achieving quite a lot might have something to do with your farming background, because most of the cockies I know, they're pretty bloody measured,
damn straight,
and they're good strategic thinkers, and when they turn their hand to another business, if they come to town after selling their farm, they're generally pretty onto it. So I think you fit into that category. Do you reckon their farming backgrounds helped you in your new business world? Now you're a city slicker and not a country
I still had to learn some hard lessons along the way, but as everyone does. But the fresh eyes coming from outside, I think growing up in the country, either be on the farm or in a rural community, where basically rural communities develop their own community as far as building sporting complexes and local cemeteries and airstrips and all that sort of thing.
Everyone's involved.
So you've got to come up with a solution all the time. You can't just run down the street or from the back paddock, go and get a piece that's broken. You've got to think outside the box. So I guess I look back thinking that's been very helpful. If I've got any of my Jerramungup friends listening now, they'll just be laughing themselves off, saying, "You idiot, you couldn't think straight."
Well, you see, you've got the farming angle, right? I love the fact that we've got in common the car thing, mate. Like, come on, you've got a couple of beautiful toys and old school stuff. Old school EH. You've got an EH.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's been a long time trying to do something with that. Lack of time.
Yeah.
But I have got it. It's a 64.
Grey motor?
EH 173 red.
First the reds, mate. That's the difference. There we go.
No, sorry, 179 red.
Okay. 179 red. Right.
Yeah.
179 red, and it runs. So when I bought it, I was able to drive it, except the brakes didn't work too well. Cleaned out. Well, I cleaned it all out and got it going.
Yeah.
So now we've got it stripped down, and my son has helped put the engine back together so far, and we've got it sandblasted and ready for painting.
Oh, that'd be fantastic.
What colour?
So it was originally one of the blue colours with the white
roof?
lid. Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
The powder
it's
blue
got green leather, green seats in it, and green upholstery, that darkish green. So I need that aqua turquoise type bluey green colour.
Should be nice, mate. Fantastic.
So no seat belts, no headrests.
No, it's got seat belts.
Oh, righto.
No headrests.
Yeah.
Bench seats.
Bench seat. Yeah.
Automatic.
Yeah, room for 6. Look at that.
Mm.
Yeah, room for 6 people.
Yeah.
Got a bench seat front and back.
Automatic
driveways. Drive-ins.
Drive-ins. Yeah.
Steering on the
yes.
Yeah.
Gear stick on the column.
Yeah, gear stick on the column. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Oh no, fabulous.
They're lovely old things. It's just look again. It kind of ties it together for me, right? Okay, again about Australian made. That's a classic. Okay, and you know what? It lasts and lasts and lasts. Whether if you compared to some sort of imported rubbish, and I'm not saying all stuff's imported. It's rubbish because there's a lot of great quality out there.
Yeah.
But just good old Australian values of building something right.
Yep.
Yeah. And based on good old values, we'll touch a bit on Craig's going outside the square and doing a lot of community work, because he's got a big following because of helping others and giving back. And I think you've done. You invited me, or someone did, to. It was a function for prostate cancer, I think, recently.
Yeah.
So give us a bit of an idea of what you do in that sort of world. Community support, raising money. Cancer's one of them.
I don't do a lot, to be fair. I've always been part of the community as far as coming from where I come from, supporting clubs and that sort of thing. Everybody was and was part of raising money, whether that be going on working bees, doing cement pours, and we took down, 50, 60, 80 miles of old telephone lines to raise money to build the new entertainment centre at Jerramungup. To raise money, Telstra paid us, and we cut up the posts for strainer posts sold to the farmers and gave the copper wire back, and that took us months, but groups just went out and did that in our spare time. Had a lot of fun doing it as well, but that helped, build that. So coming to Perth, sort of still got that where you like to be involved in that club environment. Mm-hmm. From the other side of it, I'm more than happy to help some of these charitable things like Michelle and the Prostate Foundation that she started up. So we've all been touched by cancer, and we're going to get touched again, no doubt. But Michelle's gone about it in a nice sort of a way where she's out there trying to support people who are suffering from it and that sort of thing. She's not out there to try and stop it or cure it or anything, but she's out there to help the people. So anything we can do, and because I'm part of the Roswine Bowling Club, we've got a facility there that we can use. So it's a bit like just having contacts around the place. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head at the moment, but I'm more than happy to help with those sorts of things.
That is great.
It's something everyone should enjoy and have fun doing, and not look upon it as a chore. Yeah,
that's right. Give back to the community, mate. You're part of it. And it gives a lot to you as well. I mean, these are things you feel a lot of pride to be involved in these.
Well, it's a big job trying to get. For these people and for anybody, whether it be a sporting body or not, these days, there's so much choice out there.
That's
And
true.
the younger generation, they've got so much choice and so many other things to do. And we're in a world of financial tightness, I suppose. So, it's hard work to get funds raised for all these sorts of things. And the bigger companies in town, even my big suppliers that I've gone to get support from, donating money to some of these causes, and that the big companies will tend to hide behind the fact that they support the large organisations such as the McGrath Foundation.
Sure.
And all that. Now, that's not a bad thing.
Oh no, I know where you're coming
That's a good
from.
thing, but they won't come down and support the little foundations or the mums and dads that get off their bum and do what Michelle's doing and that sort of thing. She's going to work really hard to get support until she becomes a big name.
Yeah.
So that's disappointing. I find that there's international or national companies that are supplying the community with products here in Perth and Australia that they can't distribute some of their help that they give to some of the smaller charities around the local people that are struggling, rather than making sure they got their name up in lights to do the big ones.
It's a very good point.
It is. It's between the difference between virtue signalling and actually genuinely caring, right? And no, look, tip the old hat to you, because companies here in Perth or right across Australia, those mid-level small business, all of that, who actually are looking after the grassroots stuff. Yeah. That's really important, mate. Yeah. It really is, and it shows it's genuine.
Well, it's not advertising, which is
no, that's right.
Is what they're doing when they're plastering their name around the big ones. Is advertising.
You've said that you show a lot of respect and restraint with the way you've said that, but it's really, really true.
No, good on you, mate. That's a fantastic effort.
Brilliant. I've got a question.
Shoot.
Apart from through your website, through oldwealthbydesign.com, okay, how else can we get hold of Craig?
Craig will be the best one to advertise where everyone can find out about Craig's business and his fantastic products.
Where is that,
they
mate?
find you, Craig?
Okay, so website is purely and simply absoluteofficecomforts.com.au. You'll get a lot of contacts in that there. We're in 26 Hutton Street in the middle of Osborne Park.
Yeah.
So we're not far from anywhere. Our sales teams and staff and experts are more than happy to travel and see them. In fact, that's how we get on the same page as our clients so easily. So if you contact us, you need some help with anything, we'll get as much detail and research done on what we're doing as possible, and then we go out on site to meet the client and walk through what they need and try and find any issues, problems, and make any suggestions that might be helpful to make the whole process simpler.
You're not just getting a product, mate. You're getting the expertise, right?
Yeah,
that's the difference. Yeah.
So they're a pretty good team, and the good thing we do about in our open plan showroom is that we walk around and do thought bubbles.
Okay.
So everybody's there, can share ideas. I've got this situation, I'm doing this, and I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. And then half the time they don't finish their sentence and they, that's what I should be doing, and go away. But there's all of us there to bounce ideas off each other to try and get a really good result for what we're doing. And that's what we love to hear, is those people to come back 5 years' time and say, my desk is still not broken, but we want to do this or upgrade our kitchen, for argument's sake, or anything else that we can do for them.
Bloody fantastic. Thought bubbles are very good in the office.
Thought bubbles,
they are very good. Do you hear about the Tabasco?
Talk out loud.
No?
The Tabasco had this global problem of reduced sales.
Okay.
Right.
Really?
Yeah, and they put it out to all their staff. And I said, look, we've got to bring all the information in. We've got to pull it all apart. We've got to really assess how we're going to improve our global sales of Tabasco sauce.
Okay.
Right. And anyway, months and months and months of work and enormous amounts of research. And they finally decided on a suggestion from one of their little factory workers. And he said, look, all you got to do, because every time you shake that bloody Tabasco, right, it's hard to get out. He said, you just got to increase the size of the hole by 100%.
Yep. Guess what?
Mm.
Yeah, sales went through the roof. So did a lot of tons, right?
There's no dumb questions.
That's a true.
That's right.
That is a true story.
Oh, look, I'm so not surprised by that
How
one.
good's that?
Well, there you go.
Everyone should talk all the time. You never know where an idea is going to
Yeah.
come from. It might be part of that and part of yours, and then suddenly you come with something good.
Oh,
But,
that's right. Well, I mean, look, there's a guy out there in the world who decided to put soy sauce in a little tiny fish container, right? No one knows who he is. We do know he's a billionaire, okay? There's a lot of business ideas out there. It's a strange world we live in. Look, thanks so much for being part of the show today. Again, look, jump on to wealthbydesign.com.au and look at that. What fantastic people we have in the background, because someone, and I'm going to say, I think it was Lisa, has stuck on to contact Craig there, and his details with his website right there on the screen. So thank you very much for that. Really
Great stuff.
appreciate it.
Good on you, Craig.
Look,
Thanks so much for coming in, man. I know you're a busy man.
No worries.
But,
Thank you for
it's always good to get the talent in.
It's a tough man to grab. Hey, thanks very much. As I say, you've been watching Wealth by Design here on Edge Radio Australia.
We see an expert to check up on our health. We see an expert to check up on our car. Why don't we do the same with our finances? Jump online and book a free personal financial health check with Jeff Bowman from Wealth by Design. Knowledge is power. Follow the link on edgeradioaustralia.com. Design a future for you and your children. Wealth by Design.